Hey, it's the preacher. And had a subscriber stop by named Joe today and bought me and my wife's lunch. He was passing through the area, reached out, said he'd like to visit, so we sat down and had a, I don't know, about a 2-hour lunch. Man, y'all keep fogging up. So me and my wife and Joe and his daughter Delaney had us a nice lunch, and I really appreciate him reaching out to me. He was passing through from out of state, and anyways, so we had lunch and we came home. We sat down for a few minutes, but we can't put it off any longer. I wanted to give you kind of a garden update. I got onions that need to be pulled today, and I got a problem with the tomatoes. The tomatoes are battling some blight, and that's always kind of been an issue for us, but it's something new this year. It's worms. Let me show you. Now, we're picking tomatoes about every other day, and this is what they should look like. This is a yellow brandywine. Perfect. Here's one that may end up getting thrown away. Here's a Tasmanian chocolate. Man, the humidity's so bad. Here's a Tasmanian chocolate. As you can see, wormhole. This is one that the worms doesn't seem to bother, and this is my favorite. This is a indigo cherry tomato. Fantasticos, golden or yellow pear tomatoes. So anyways, we've got to put an end to this worm damage. And it's not tomato hornworms. It's, what I've seen, it's some kind of little green worm that mainly doesn't eat the leaves, it eats the fruit. My wife's going around picking tomatoes, and I ate all the blueberries that were ripe. And I've only got to get to do that about 1 or 2 more times. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go pull the onions. And once she gets all the tomatoes picked, and she's actually pruning some of the blight leaves off, I'm going to pull these onions. Let's bring you along. These are purple onions. These did better than my white onions did. And I've given away some of the bigger ones. I've eaten some of the bigger ones. But I've still got a pretty good crop of, got a pretty good crop of purple onions. Let's take a look at them. That's a good it's a good baseball size onion. Right about like it. Smaller. Knock some of that dirt off out here. There's what we got, and that's just the overflow pile. If you'll remember, I spaced them out through here so they'd have room to grow, and let's harvest these down the edge of these down the edge of these cucumbers. Here's the first one on the row. That's just under a baseball size, I would say. Smaller one, a little bit better one there. Get rid of that weed while I'm here. I think these got a little shaded out down here on the end. They died a while back. They're kind of small. But that's better than nothing. Well, I just about filled the box up. So there you have it. That's my purple onion harvest. Remember, I had one bunch of white, one bunch of purple. The white came off about probably 3 weeks ago. They all laid over and died. I pulled them. I've kept them in the house, and I've kept them in a box like that where they've spread out. And I'll spread these out a little better. And they've hardened off, and we've been cutting up some of them and giving some of them away. And so I'm going to do the same thing with these purple onions. The cucumbers are just about done. There's still one good cucumber there. I don't know if you can see that. That's about a 12-incher. There's another one in there. But for every 2 of them, you have one of these ugly ones down here. The third planting of peppers, I don't know how much they'll make, but they're starting to bloom. I think this is a jalapeno and this is a jalapeno. These are my favorite, Hungarian cheese mix. They're kind of like a little miniature bell pepper. I don't know if you can see it down in there. Yeah, there's one right there. Those are my favorites when they're ripe. Tabascos, I was just looking in here. I don't pick Tabascos until they turn red, but that's a little Tabasco right there. This is Craig's Grande, I think is what it's called, jalapenos. You can see several in there. All of these here are Tibetan chilies. And there's 3, I believe. 1, 2, yeah, 3. And they're pretty well loaded up. Just a red chili pepper. This one here probably has worm damage. It does. That's what we're going to deal with tonight. I'm applying some spinosad. And some of you ask about the chickens. Let's go throw this in the chicken pen. I don't know if they'll eat it or not. You want to look at the chickens? I have some of the prettiest chickens in Arkansas. No 2 are the same. This is my favorite rooster. This is Uncle Rico. Uncle Rico is right there. That's Uncle Rico, center of your screen. He started life kind of just a unique brown color. I don't know, he's got so many colors on him now, I don't know what you'd call him. He's a keeper rooster. We're going to hang on to him. All right, let me show you how the tomatoes are doing. You've seen the peppers, the cucumbers. Of course, we got marigolds. We got marigolds in the containers and zinnias in the containers. This is a tomato that everybody ought to grow. Right now, those vines are a good 9 foot tall. 8 to 9 foot tall. And we've picked all the low-hanging fruit down here. There's one that'll be ripe probably in a day or 2. These are the yellow pears. You're not seeing any ripe fruit on these because we've picked them. This is the, I never know how to say this. Maybe somebody, Andimo, I don't know. It's kind of shaped like a chili pepper, but it's a tomato. And it's really produced well and grown well. It's about 7 foot tall. You can see up here. My favorite, my absolute favorite tomato that I showed you earlier, the indigo cherry tomatoes. There they are, green. Notice that dark purpley black top on them. Then they'll start getting ripe and then they'll turn kind of a rusty orange. That's when you want to pick them. These here are yellow brandywines. You'll see a lot of broken limbs. That's because they fell over 3 times before I got them tied up. The whole the whole thing blew over that way once. Then the whole thing blew over this way once. Then it blew over that way again, and I got baling twine and tied them all together so they won't fall over. Right through here are the regular old heirloom brandywines, just a red, dark red slicing tomato. They're probably probably 6.5, 7 foot tall. Oh, and here, these are container tomato, Tasmanian chocolates. We really liked these last year, and they produce good for, you know, we're growing these in a Leon tub, but the disease got them this year, and they're still making a lot, but it's just we don't think it's as good this year as it was last year. So there's your garden update. I've got some onions. What I'll do with those onions and spread them out, lay all the leaf sides out, and I'll lay them on a table in the house where air can get to them and circulate around them. And I'll give them 3 or 4 weeks to dry out, maybe longer than that. And when they're good and dry, we'll try to store them somewhere in a dark, cool place. Oh, there's a little breeze. You feel that? A little breeze hit me. I can actually feel it pretty good. Okay, here's what we did. I sprayed everything with spinosad to kill the worms, which is a organic. If you're into that organic, I'm not, but I just didn't want to kill anything I didn't have to kill, and I want to kill the worms. Me and the wife pulled all the cucumber vines out and picked the last of the cucumbers. We pulled all the yellow zucchini out, and I want to say something about this. These cucumbers were a good variety. They made really long cucumbers, and they didn't get real big around. Even when they were fairly large, they weren't loaded with seeds. These are Tasty Kings, and I wanted to plant Tasty Kings and Summer Dance, but Totally Tomatoes sent me Munchers instead of Summer Dance, and I could only get 1 seed to sprout. So as far as Tasty Kings go, I would plant these again. I will put them on my list of cucumbers that I like and like to grow. This was a 16-foot cattle panel. I planted 4 on it. They covered it, and they crawled up the arch on that end. So, yellow zucchini. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like it better than regular zucchini. I like it better than yellow squash, and so does my wife. So we'll be planting yellow zucchini from now on. Anyways, I got to get these onions in there. We got a big old bowl of tomatoes. We had about that many tomatoes the day before yesterday. Today we made salsa out of a bunch of it. A bunch of this will probably get given away at church tomorrow. So I hope that mosquito biting me in the leg drowns in a pool of my sweat. Hey, I'll see you guys on the next video.